Today is Monday, June 9th. I'm just barely walking in the door from work, but wanted to report out on my first day on the .5, and I have been really tired today. Not exhaustive tired, but I had to get a second cup of coffee at 3, and I typically only have one cup of coffee a day. So that's something new. And we're going to see how the rest of the week goes. It's Tuesday the 10th. I usually work home from Lord have mercy, the coffee is not kicking in. Work home from today. Work home on today. Work from home on today. My God. Anyway, I usually go to the rec, but I'm in the basement today. And I'm about to do that video using these weights. And it is this time. Let me see if this new watch will work right. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to another GLP-1 update. This will be about Wegovy, and I'm gonna tell y'all at the gate right now. I don't really know how long this video gonna be. I got several talking points I want to hit in this video, so if it happens to be long, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna timestamp the different topics because I typically don't have very long videos, but I got a feeling that this one's gonna be longer than what's typical. So if you want to skip right on to the GLP-1 update and get straight to the nitty gritty, I'll have those for you in the description box. Anyway, hello, my name is Evelyn, and I have been on GLP-1 journey now for well over 40 something weeks. I'll get to the exact week, I guess, here in a second. Please forgive me, last week I didn't provide an update. I posted that on Thursday. Yes, that was yesterday. I was trying to think. I posted last week's update yesterday, and so this update that you're seeing now will get us caught back up with exactly or approximately where I am in my journey. And this week right here has been, again, I think I shared in the previous video, it's fiscal year end where I work. So work has been crunk, okay? It's been very lively. And so I'm very grateful to have the first part of this day off, largely because I had a doctor's appointment this month. So for those of you who don't know, I don't have a telehealth provider. I tried that one time and it just didn't sit right with me. So I go to my primary care doctor's office for my services, and today was my 6-week check-in. So I usually go every 4 to 6 weeks to get what's called an InBody scan, which I'll review that here soon. So far, like, my journey has been really slow, but it's also been steady. And also this week, well, I'm a little bit tired, and I'm a little bit like foggy. I touched on it in, I think, the description box in my last video, but the testosterone, I just got refilled today when I went to my doctor's appointment. A glory, because she do need it. You know, it's one of those things, y'all, where you don't really know what you got till it's gone. And so in the instance of the testosterone, and actually let me pause here and explain. So I am 47. I'm on hormone replacement therapy. I take testosterone. Since January, I have been taking 0.75 milligrams of testosterone troches, which are just dissolvable tabs. And it had been working well for me. Some of the things that you might experience when taking testosterone, and this is what I experienced, are sustained energy levels, retention of muscle that you're building, brain function, like, like how I was saying, I got, like, man, the brain, like, it's not sharp, like it's not snapping like how it was. I noticed that heavily, like, this week at work, because I've been, looking at a lot of spreadsheets this week and doing a lot of, like, very detailed work, and my brain wasn't popping. like how I normally pop. And I was trying to figure out what was going on because I go to bed early around here. I go to bed like how our grandparents went to bed, 7 o'clock. I'm already in pajamas 7:30, unless I got somewhere to be, and most times I don't during the week. Anyhow, um, I could tell the difference without the testosterone. So I'm so really excited that I got the refill coming here very soon, and can't wait to pop it in my mouth. I really can't, because it ain't nothing like having that type of like sharpness. And again, it's hard to explain if you're not on it. But I'm really thankful to God for hormone replacement therapy. The testosterone and my levels in terms of labs have become normal as a result of me taking testosterone. Before taking the supplement, I was far below normal. Um, and my labs are normal now, and I just think it's just so life changing, honestly. If you are menopausal, or menopausal, I've heard that it works for both groups. I am perimenopause, beginning stages. So anyways, the testosterone is on its way. I paid for it today. It is on its way. Glory be. Okay, so let me get to the doctor's appointment. So Dr. Pap, that's his name for real. Pap. Super cool. Younger guy, but super cool. So I got in there today, and I was telling him and talking to him about, he's asking me how the Wegovy is going. So this whole journey, for the most part, with the exception of the past month and a week or two, I was on compounded semaglutide. The highest levels of compounded semaglutide I was taking was 30 units, and I only took that 1 week according to my little desk calendar log that I keep here in my desk space. And I took the 0.25, which did, I don't know if you could hear that. The 0.25 dose did nothing. I was fully annoyed by that. Additionally, I started to get, when I say hungry, like I started thinking about, like, I wouldn't say like from a food noise standpoint that even before taking this medication, I wouldn't say that I had it like super bad, but I would just say normal cravings, like my normal appetite surfaced. Like I told you in the last video, I had me a bacon turkey cheeseburger and it was fire. Okay. Um, I have been eating. I have been eating, and it's been really good meals, to be honest with you. And I probably would be much heavier than what I am had I not been lifting weights this entire time. This entire time I've been lifting weights. Um, Out of the 4+ times a week that I work out, only one day am I doing just cardio. But most days, every time I'm picking up somebody's weight. Um, but today was one of those days when I started my day this morning, because I did work out before the doctor's appointment, because you want to do the last chance workout. And if last chance workout, right? So I did 30 minutes at the rec center down the street from my house. So when I go to the rec by my house, I walk to the rec. So that's about 1,000 steps, 1,000 steps back. And then I got on the bike this morning. And it was a true struggle. One of the things that I am noticing about this zero point 0.5 dose, like I say, I gave my second 0.5 dose yesterday, Thursday, the 12th, and it do leave you a little bit tired. Like, I'm not, like I said, exhaustively tired, but tired nonetheless. And I have noticed a slight, ever so slight, increase in appetite suppression, which is good. But I'm very much looking forward to the testosterone, because that does help balance it out. Additionally, when I was on the compounded semaglutide, it was laced with B12. I think I had mentioned it previously. And so I asked the doctor today, like, does he think it would be a good idea if I incorporate, B12 supplement again, since I am no longer on the weekly injectable of the B12. And he said, yeah, that he did think that that would, be more than okay. It really helps, with anemia, if you are prone to that. And I do have that runs in my family. So I was like, okay, we'll resume taking the B12 immediately. And I think he said 1,000 milligrams. I'll have to review my notes, but I think he said 1,000 per day should be good for me. And so I'll resume that here too. Um, but so far, the Wegovy, maybe it's too premature to say, but why I feel today, right now, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And then one of the downsides the doctor was talking to me about, he said, the thing with the pens is that you can't slowly adjust. The benefit to the compounded vials is that you can dose up very slowly or you can jump. You have flexibility to control the dosage more so than you do with the pen. The pen is all or nothing commitment, right? And so he was saying, we'll see how you do with the 1 milligram coming up. And so he was like, I'm gonna go ahead and actually go ahead and send in your 1 and your 1.7 now so that it's already pending. Sometimes the pharmacies will go ahead and fill it, but sometimes they won't fill it ahead of schedule depending on what type of insurance you have. Lucky me, the type of insurance I have, they will not fill my 1 milligram prescription. I got a lovely text message because my doctor, he put it into the system while I was sitting there. So I would say about 20 to 30 minutes after I left the office, I got a text notification saying something to the effect of, Evelyn, you can't pick up your pen until July 5th. So sit down, girl. Of course, it didn't say that, but that's my interpretation of the text and how I felt when I read it. So, with that being said, I will continue to do these weekly doses of the zero point 0.5 until July 5th, although, the 4th is a holiday, so which means I'm going to try to finesse and I'm going to try to call it in on, I think, the 28th and see if they'll let me pick it up. Because I know, like, there's like a little bit of wiggle room, to call it in a few days before it's due. And with the holiday, I'm hopeful that I can get it on the 28th instead of waiting to the date after a holiday to get the 1.0. And once I get the 1.0, that'll put me back at the equivalent of what I was taking prior to switching from the compounded version to the brand version, Wegovy. So the other thing is, I don't know if I shared this with y'all, but the other thing is that with the exception of yesterday when I took the second uh, 0.5, I had been injecting in my thighs, which had been working really well. And people be talking about switching the areas and stuff like that. So I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and switch back again to my stomach. I didn't really tell too much of a difference, but like I say, this dose is so low, and again, I'm very unimpressed. It's taken a ton of willpower for me to maintain um, healthy diet as best I can. But like for example, yesterday I had a craving because it's creeping up on PMS time. So I had a craving for some chocolate chip cookies. So I had my daughter, my 30-year-old daughter, go to the store. Or well, actually she called and was like, well, mama, what kind you want? They got this, this, this. I said, yeah, go ahead and give me them chocolate chips. And so she got me she got me a box of the chocolate chips. Not just for me though. I ain't killed a whole box. But I did have 2 cookies. And the cookies tasted really good. It was chocolate chip with some caramel pieces in it, and it was soft and chewy. And it was fire. Okay. Simply fire. But thankfully, after 2 cookies, I was like, okay. But let me tell you, them cookies was 160 calories a piece. Now, I did work out extra hard at the rec center yesterday morning too. So I don't really feel bad about it. And frankly, I'm not going to feel bad about if I want to enjoy some things here and there, um, because my ultimate goal definitely is to make it a lifestyle and for this to be sustainable. On a positive note, because I feel like I'm kind of being a downer right now, so let me lift this energy up. On a positive note, um, I am happy to say that I have maintained and sustained my weight loss during this transitional period while I work myself back up to um, a therapeutic dose. So I'm very proud of that. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive in to this week's results. I'm gonna look down. I'm gonna have it on the screen for you, but I'm gonna be looking down while I go through these numbers. So This morning when I woke up, I weighed myself at my house. At my house, I was 185.6. On the InBody scale, I was 185. And guess what? We'll take it, because what we don't want to do is just continuously go up, because last week I don't really know what that was, but according to Dr. Pap, any individual can fluctuate 3 to 5 pounds in a day's time, and that's actually normal, which is why we shouldn't weigh ourselves excessively, which you know that up here, but it's nice to be reminded of that. Okay, so I told you I weighed in at 185. My skeletal muscle mass is up. So she has maintained her muscle. My skeletal muscle mass was 58.9. Last time I was at the doctor's office, which was May 2nd, it was 57.1. Um, my body fat is down. Hmm. So the weight is sustained, but the body fat is down. And actually, looking at these numbers, my body fat is down the lowest it has been this entire journey. Still got a ways to go though, because the goal for me is 29% body fat. Today, I was at 43.1% body fat. When I started way back in, I think it was higher than this, but I'm going to go off of the chart you see, because I started in August on the medication. But the date that this goes back to is September 6th, and I was at 47.2 percent body fat. So we are still headed in the right direction in terms of the body fat going down, which is, again, my ultimate goal here. I'm very pleased at these results under the circumstances that I'm in. Super excited. Um, like I said, I've been fluctuating between like 182 and 185, 86 sometimes. Like last week, I pushed up to 187, but I've been fluctuating between that number since the beginning of this year. So I have been sustaining the same weight on the scale since January. However, if I look at January's, looks like I had a low body fat percentage. There was 43.8%. And then today was 43.1, which I said was my lowest body fat percentage. So I'm really pleased with those results. And I'm going to keep maintaining. I will keep you updated, of course, as the weeks go by. I want to say thank you to you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and watching me. Speaking of watch, I got a new watch. Now, it is an Apple Watch knockoff, because I was not about to pay the Apple Watch money. But I really needed a new watch, because I previously I had a Garmin, and it did a lot of things, but the only thing I used it for was to calculate my steps. And I wanted to test myself and see the steps that I have when I'm working from home versus the steps that I have when I'm at work. And I actually have more steps when I am at work than I do here. I think largely because I work downtown, so I have to park in the garage, walk to the building. I'm on the highest floor in the building. So, you take the elevator up and then it's walking down along. So, excuse me, and I get up every hour too, most times, if I'm not in a meeting, to give myself stretch breaks at work. And I don't think I am as good at that when I work from home. But this watch, and I'll put the information here on the screen and in the description box. And no, this is not sponsored. I'm just telling you what I got. It was cheap. When I say cheap, let me use a better word for you. It was affordable. It's still cute, and it does everything. Me holding my arm like this. It does everything that I needed to do. Um, like my steps so far today, I'm at 4,037. Um, it takes my heart rate and stuff. And unlike the Garmin watch I had, I actually did the app for this watch. So the only downside I would say is that it doesn't automatically sync. Like you literally have to have the app open and for it to sync, your results into the app. But for what I paid compared to what an Apple Watch is, that's low lift for me. Um, I'm all about keeping as much money in my pocket as possible these days, or I should say, using it wisely, being a good steward. So I wanted to share that with you. And then let me see here. What else? I'll be having my little notes. Um, yeah. So that's it. Not much updates. I hope y'all are doing good. I hope your journey is going well, regardless if you're on a weight loss maintenance or if just it's the life stuff, because the life stuff can be a lot too. Um, as you know, we or may recall, we have all adult children, um, four of them, and three of the four are back home, which is why my background changed from my office that I used to have. One of the young adults is now that is their bedroom. So that's been a transition, honestly. And especially when, we kind of get ready to get to the empty nesting stage. But it's not here yet. And it's going to have to be all right. And I also have to look at the fact that sometimes, we don't understand the things that are happening. Like, this is not anything that had I had control of, I would have allowed to happen. However, I do know that there's a purpose and a reason for everything. And I have to be open to that. My faith tells me that I have to be open to that. And so it's a new journey for sure. But we are navigating. And as my mom would say, we overcoming. And I am making each and every day the best day that I can. Because guess what? There's always somebody doing worse off than you. Always, 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 always. And see, that's why I love gospel music too. Because, and I told you I was going to win back a little bit. So, for those of you who don't want to hear me just go off about the things I be thinking about, I understand. But, I was thinking I had shared the CC Winans Tiny Desk on my post portion of my YouTube. And, I'm so thankful I grew up in church. I am. And I know it's a lot of these pastors and bishops and stuff like that, not living up to our expectations. I understand that. And it is exceptionally disappointing. And also, I gained so many wonderful things in church. I learned so many wonderful things about how to be, how to show up. I mean, if you think about it, and I think I've shared this before, so forgive the broken record, but church is the first place where you had public speaking one on one with your Easter speech. Church was the first place that many of us learned how to serve, like volunteer, like being on the junior usher board, for example, or, serving, in children's church, if you were like in your teen years, you would like be the assistant and stuff. Or as you got older, maybe you were on the worship team, or, you were on you were a deacon. It's just, it put such a firm foundation in me of like who I really am at my core. And who I really am at my core is a believer in God, a person that I feel like others see trustworthiness, respect, hold in high regard, um, not perfect by no measure. But when you have those convictions and have like a firm foundation, I think those are the things that set you up for success and really prepare you for when you do hit, those trials that we go through as human beings. I think the other piece is that no one is exempt from going through. You know what I'm saying? Even the most perfect person. I mean, we see it every day in the news media on YouTube where people are just sharing their stories, about their lives. And I think people who are grounded in their faith, I think there is something about the refrain and the reframe that comes along with having faith in God and knowing when it's time to pray. And I'm getting convicted right now because I woke up today and I don't know, my daughter had texted me and she was like, Mom, you been getting any downloads, for me lately? And I'm just like, no, I ain't got no download. And I'm not breaking it down in this video, but definitely my spirit is sensitive, and that is time. This also I learned in church. That is a time where you have to pray. That is a time where you have to get still and quiet and where you listen for the answer. And I know that, and I think it has served me very well. Um, and it's something that I don't take lightly. Okay. I think that is all that I have within me to give to you this week. I apologize for this. You know what? Take that back. I do not apologize that this video was longer because I already have placed a timestamp so you can skip through as much as you want. But I do want you to remember that the future you is waiting on you. Meaning, this is why this is my motto, and it's been my motto since I wrote my book and started, podcasting and doing videos like this. No one is in charge really of you changing to who you want to become. It is always all on you. It is always all on you. There are very few exceptions where the onus is not on the individual. Very few exceptions. For most of us, if we want to see the person that we have imagined, that is on our vision boards, that is in our imaginations, the work part is all on us to do. If you don't like who you are, then you have to do something different to become the person that you want to be. So when I say the future you is waiting on you, that's exactly what I mean. No one can do the work but you. All right. Well, y'all have a great week. I will be back with story time. I don't know when I'm going to record that, but I missed last week. And Sunday is Father's Day, so I'll get it in here and read a couple of more excerpts from my book that I have been sharing. Thanks to those of you who have listened to that video. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time.